Hi, this is Lori from GLP-1 Journey in Review. Today, we're going to be doing a video in my interview series where we talk to people about their weight loss experience and their GLP-1 experience. I want to say that I am not a healthcare provider. My guest is not a healthcare provider. We're talking about what works for us. Today, we have Allanda, who's also a content creator. Her channel, Allanda 180, will be linked below in the description. So after you watch this video, please check out her channel. If you find any of this useful, please hit that like and subscribe button. Then go over to Allanda's channel and do the same. So Allanda, tell us a little bit something about yourself.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me. As stated, my name's Allanda. I am a 48-year-old mother of 6. I am a high school teacher, and for the last 17 months, I've been on a weight loss journey. So far, I've lost 75 pounds. My goal is to get to about 120 pounds lost, but it's slow and steady.
Slow and steady is good as long as you're losing. So what made you decide to try a GLP-1 medication?
Well, I've actually been on one back in 2016. I was having some weight issues, and my doctor pretty much set me down and said, "Hey, there's this medication you should get on," and that was Saxenda. I stayed on that for about 2 years. I lost 40 pounds in 2 years, and then eventually, very different than this journey. Well, no, it's not, but I'll get to it. Things just stopped. So I stopped taking the medication, and over the next, 5 years, I got back to the weight I started, and I added a whole lot more. So I went to a birthday party for my aunt, took a bunch of pictures, and when I came back and was going through the pictures, I personally did not recognize myself. Like, despite a month prior, my doctor trying again to get me on the medication. She was like, "Hey, we got to do something about your weight. You're on 8 different medications. We got to do something." And I was like, "No, I'm fine. I don't need any help. I'm good." But when I saw the picture, I knew I needed some help. So, yeah.
So I take it that was your aha moment.
It was. Yeah. I literally did not recognize myself in the photo. It's amazing how the mind can shield you. And I had just grown a protective barrier about the health of my body and the state of my body.
So which medication are you on now?
I am on tirzepatide. I play between name brand and compound. Some months I can afford the $550, and some months I cannot. So that's where the compound comes in.
Bless you on a teacher's salary.
Yes. Yeah.
And thank you for doing that, because I know you're obviously not doing it for the money, because I know what teachers get paid.
Yeah.
So what made you decide tirzepatide versus semaglutide?
It was the only option my doctor gave me. I'm not really averse into knowing all the different lingos or terms. Can you hold on 1 second?
Sure.
So when it came down to the GLP-1s, I really wasn't knowledgeable about my options. I pretty much trusted whatever my doctor stated. And once I got the medication, or really put it in to get it, that's when I realized, okay, this has to be different than the time before. And to be honest, I didn't know what that really meant. I just knew last time when I just took the shot every day and lost the 40 pounds in 2 years, that worked for that. But I'm right back where I started. So I had to see stuff differently. So when she said, Zepbound, I said, okay, I'll make it work. And that's where it started.
So you said you were taking a bunch of medications. Are you diabetic or pre-diabetic, high blood pressure, anything like that?
No, and it's so ironic. That Monday when I went to my doctor's appointment and told her, I said, "Hey, I know last month you talked to me about medication. Can we talk about it again?" And she said, "Sure." At that point, I was on a blood pressure medication. I was on Eliquis for blood clots. My diabetes was borderline. Like, I was literally at 6.4. And she was like, "We can do this one or two ways. we can retest you right now. And I'm pretty, because I hadn't been fasting. She's like, I'm pretty sure you're going to be over, or I can keep what's on this piece of paper. And I was like, let's just keep what's on that piece of paper. And that choice right there would have made a huge difference between Zepbound and Mounjaro.
Mm-hmm.
My insurance would have covered it, but yeah.
It's tough having that label though on, if you need, other types of insurance or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It
And
could be
she
tough.
did say that. She was like, you have small kids, life insurance policies. I was like, ooh, yeah, no, let's just keep what's on that paper. But I had a lot of medical necessities that I was managing with the medication. And, for me, it was just take a pill every day, take a pill, take another pill, take a bunch of pills. I wasn't really concerned about my health. I was worried about everybody else.
Has the medication helped with any of those or got you off of any of the pills?
Oh, yes. Medically, I'm down to 2. Really, it's 2.5. Because I also had incontinence. So I would laugh, pee on myself, and cough and pee on myself, which that doctor was like, Allanda, you got to lose the weight. You got to lose the weight. And I'm like, whatever, just fix my bladder. So I'm down off of that one, but we still have it just in case. Now I am on down, and I always forget that, that's another medication that I am on. But currently I'm on blood pressure, a multivitamin, bariatric multivitamin, and then my backup for in case I have a comedy moment.
So what dose are you on?
I am on 12.5 of tirzepatide. Yeah. And I kind of play, like I said, I play between. So 1 month I might do name brand, and then the next month I might do compound. I may do compound for 2 months straight, and then jump back over to name brand. I haven't quite figured out why mentally I keep doing that to myself. I don't know. I keep thinking I figured it out.
Have you seen a difference between compound and name brand?
The one difference that I have noticed is inflammation. When I'm on name brand, I tend to not get inflammation issues, but when I am on compound, I do. Now, keep in mind with compound, while I have one telehealth pharmacy or one telehealth company, they use multiple pharmacies.
Right.
So it's almost like it doesn't matter which pharmacy I use, the inflammation part is just a little different, and I can usually tell.
I haven't noticed any difference now. I've only used name brand maybe 8 or 9 times on my journey. It's mainly compound. How do you feel about what's happening to compound these days?
It's hard because I do see compound as a bridge. To be honest, my journey would have ended back in October. I would have started in February, and because of finances, ended my journey in October. But I started realizing compound was an option, so I stopped out. I mean, I was out there scared. I was like, no, we can't stop the work. It's working. Right. And by that point, I had lost almost 60 pounds. So I was desperate to keep the momentum of the weight loss. I probably had about 4 different telehealth companies that I was receiving medication from, stockpiling. And then when it kept going, I was like, okay, I can ease up. My journey has not ended, but I do have to better prepare myself because at some point I do feel like things will turn pretty bad. I'm not psychic, but the fact that no one has eased up is just more full speed ahead, more lawsuits. I feel at some point, everything's going to topple over.
My personal opinion is that they're doing this more for the next generation of GLP-1 medications.
Yeah.
So,
I got asked recently, would I get on retatrutide? And I was like, yeah, why not? Like, I mean, I like what I'm doing, but if there's an even better one, I'll get on it. But will I be able to afford it? You know, I clawed.
And will you qualify? And because I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's more for people that really have to lose 100, 100 or more pounds.
Yep.
But I'm happy with the tirzepatide because that's what I'm on. So I'm just hoping it brings the prices down
Yeah.
when the new ones come out and so forth.
Yeah.
Brings me to another question. I interview people from UK and other countries, and their prices are just so much lower.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on that?
It's not fair. It's not fair at all. And truth be told, I've looked at those options. You know, how can I skirt the system? I have a family member that travels a lot. And I'm like, well, how can I maneuver to stay on this journey? And I mean, there's some pretty good safeguards up there. So I've had to remain in the US
Right.
medication, but it's really not fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the goal is still the same, provide healthy bodies for healthy people. Why is there a money aspect tied to it?
Yeah, it's like the other day I was listening to Charles from Round Mound of Zepbound, and he's like, whatever happened, to this, Fair Country Act that was supposed to be seen almost immediately? It's been 90 days and nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. It's really
Uh,
unfair.
it is.
And I know a lot of teachers are either obese or overweight, and we are still struggling with the same issues. It'll be interesting when I go back in about 3 weeks, how many of us were able to obtain GLP-1s to start the
Mhm.
journey. Because a lot of us just can't afford it.
Yeah, even compound is a little bit pricey. It
Hmm.
is an investment, but
It
uh,
is.
my opinion, in the long run, as long as I could afford it right now, I think
Yeah.
it's gonna save me money in the long run because, who knows, 10 years from now, I might need open heart surgery because of my weight.
Yeah.
And I wish insurance companies would see it that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're looking at the bottom line. We are looking past the bottom line.
Well, they're looking at right now.
Yeah.
They have to pay it right now, and they might not see the benefits right now. And I know in the United States, the average person changes insurance like every 2 to 3 years,
Oh, yeah.
usually due to their employer changing plans. And so, they don't want to pay, for somebody that might be on Blue Cross later, even though, vice versa would happen. It's a battle.
It
Yeah,
is.
I don't know the answer, but I'm hoping soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
And I
think the
did.
more go ahead.
Oh, no, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think the more things that it gets approved for, the better chances we are of, getting insurance coverage. Like, the Cardiac Association is now going to be recommending it, for heart disease as a treatment and so forth. Although Zepbound supposedly was okayed to treat um, sleep apnea, and it's still very hard to get approved for that.
Yeah. I've tried
I
several different times for the sleep apnea. I've done in-home studies. I've even had my sleep doctor work up some paperwork. It just keeps coming back. No, 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 regardless of how I try to work it. And following up on the health insurance piece and changing, back in 2015, I actually tried to go in and have a sleeve placed in. I'd gone
Mhm.
through all the steps, the medical, the mental. I got to my pre-visit where they tell me what diet I need to be on for the next few days, or actually, I guess it was 2 or 3 weeks. And the lady hit me with the bill. And I was like, what is this? I had planned for this. It is now summertime. I was going to have my surgery, recoup over the summer, be ready to go
Mhm.
when school started. And she was like, oh, yeah, your insurance changed in January, so it's no longer covered. And that was the end of that. And so that's when I got on Saxenda shortly after. But yeah, insurances, they will change based on, the needs of the company.
So what does a typical day of food look like for you?
For me, I wake up pretty early. Being a high school teacher, our day starts
Mhm,
at 7:15. So in the morning, I'm usually high protein. I have a high protein coffee or shake, depending on how I feel.
mhm,
Am I awake or not awake? Eggs of some sort, either boiled or scrambled. I also have another protein. So my morning, I'm putting in about 50 to 60
mhm,
grams of protein. My lunch is pretty basic. I do a salad and I play around that protein. Sometimes it's tuna,
mhm,
sometimes it's chicken, or leftovers from the night before. But I have a family of 6, so it's not
mhm,
very often we have leftovers.
mhm,
And then dinner is another focus on protein.
mhm,
For my family, we always have a salad. I'm real heavy on making sure they get some kind of vegetable in. So salad has become a staple, which is
mhm.
how I end up having leftover salad for work because they don't eat all the salad. But that's when I get the whole my plate mental, we need veggies. We need 2 types of veggies, and now we need protein. So dinner is really where I teach those lessons.
So does your family eat the same way you do, or it's hard with kids?
It is, but I call my kids in training. So my kids pretty much make dinner every night. So
Oh,
whatever
awesome.
I buy is what they cook, and we'll have like a little prep. Like some people may say, "Oh, we had corn 2 nights ago. Can we have the corn medley?" And everyone's like, "But I like the regular corn." Rock paper scissors it. Let's figure it out. And then we still win because it's veggies, but every
Right.
now and then they want to skirt the system.
Yeah, that's great because I know it would be hard if you had to have 2 types of meals, one for your family and one for you, so I'm sure that helps out a lot.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that your taste buds have changed since you've been on this medication?
Yes. I'm normally a sweet girl. I love sweet stuff, but lately, sweet has been on a high radar. What I could normally eat a lot of, I can nibble now. It's like,
Mhm,
okay, it's like really, really sweet. And Dr. Pepper was my king, but it doesn't do it for me. It again is really, really sweet. I'll like 2 sips and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's it's too much for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've found the same thing 'cause, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup was my, you know, downfall a lot, and it's like, once in a while, I have, like, the Quest brand or the other
Mhm.
brands that they make, and they're pretty good, and at work, I guess somebody brought in a bag and I ate one, I'm like, "Oh, that's disgustingly sweet," I actually now prefer the lower sugar ones,
Yeah.
so, it's so has your, family reacted to your weight loss
Um, Pretty good. Like I really
Mhm,
haven't had anyone say anything negative. My immediate family, so my co-parent and my kids, everybody's on board. Uh,
mhm,
they like seeing this new version of me, the
mhm,
smiley, happy version, the let's try something new version, opposed to the mundane, almost depressed version I was
mhm,
portraying, I was showing everyone. And so they're just happy go lucky. They even appear in some of my videos like, "Hey, I need a review on these protein bars." And they're like, "Oh, okay, which ones are we doing?" Um, then my outside family, come to find out, I have about 6 family members who are all on GLP-1s. 2 of them, we talk pretty regularly about
mhm,
our journeys, and my other 4 are kinda hush hush. They're like, "No, I'm good, I'm good." They're almost suffering in silence, if I would say that,
mhm.
because I hear rumblings, and then when I call, like, "Hey, everything good?" It's like, "Oh, everything's great, I'm great, I'm great." But, everybody's journey is different and everybody's needs are different. So in time, I'm here if
So
they need me.
so why do you think so many people, hide the fact that they take a GLP-1 medication? Is it there's still that bad stigma?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't had anyone like directly come out at me and, say, oh, or you're cheating the system or anything like that. But I hear a lot. I hear
Yeah, I have.
people, you have?
Actually, my now ex-doctor, he's, you don't need that crap, just,
Oh,
eat a little bit less, exercise a little bit more. Yeah.
yeah. I wish that was the simple answer, but we know that the medication helps in so many different
Mhm.
ways. I wish people would realize that there is something metabolic that it's helping with. So that same
Mhm.
workout just doesn't work for everybody. If it had, we'd all be in different boats by now. But
Right. Yeah.
many of us on GLP-1s have been there, done that. I've tried this, I've tried that, I tried this, and
You
it
know,
just didn't work.
a lot of the doctors, and they should understand that obesity is a disease and
Yeah.
it's not our fault. Yeah. It's a disease, and they still, if the doctors don't get it, it's kind of hard to, figure out, or easy actually to figure
Yeah.
out why the public doesn't quite get it.
Yeah.
So, do you work out?
I do. I recently.
Mhm.
That has been an ongoing battle for me on this journey. In the beginning, I did treat it just like I treated the last GLP-1.
Mhm.
I just let the medicine work. I was like, oh, it's working. Like my first week, I'm down. Oh my gosh. So it took me about 4 months to realize,
Mhm.
okay, now I need to put in some work. Like we said, this was going to be different. Let's make it different. So last summer, I really did try to come up with a routine. And that pretty much worked up until about October, where it started
Mhm.
getting cold outside and I started easing up on my walking. But this summer, I have amped up everything. And to be honest, I see a huge difference in my
Mhm.
body. Like I'm actually building muscle. Like this girl is building muscle. The scale may not say it. The scale is like, no, girl. But my body, my actual biceps are showing it. I
Mhm.
recently did an aerial class, and that was brutal. I mean, I had to like lift myself up and flip myself around. And I mean, I felt the muscle. I really
Mhm.
felt the transformation that's taking part in my body. Yeah. Very
Well,
proud,
that
very proud
that
of
that's
myself.
great. Yeah, it's, 'cause plus the more muscle we have, the easier it is to burn calories and burn fat. So, it's kind of a win-win in my book.
Yeah.
Um, so you mentioned that, people like the new smiley you. How else has it changed, mentally for you?
It's more of a mind over matter.
Mhm.
And in fairness, I should state this. Growing up, I never had a weight problem. Actually, if I had a
Mhm.
weight problem, I didn't have enough weight. Um,
Mhm.
I'm only well, I'm 5'3". I love to say I'm 5'4", but I'm not. I'm 5'3". And growing up, my average weight was like 115 to 120. And that was
Mhm.
all the way through high school, mid-college. Mid-college, I guess my hormones decided to develop boobs and hips. But even then, I topped at 125.
Mhm.
Things changed for me when I became pregnant with my first son. And I didn't care about the weight then because I was growing a baby. Like I had that
Mhm.
glow. I was so happy. But then after he came and I couldn't lose the weight, that's where the self-doubt kicked in. Like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I lose this weight? Uh,
Mhm.
and then when I kept wearing maternity clothes, but now my son is walking, and it's like, how do I still look pregnant, but he's right here? That's where the mental talk kicked in. And 24 years later, I couldn't drop the mental talk. And so now the mental talk has changed. It's more
Mhm.
positive. It's like, girl, look what you're doing. Look what you can achieve. And it's more than just the medicine causing that. I
Mhm.
actually had this conversation last night at dinner with a friend. It's not the medicine saying, oh, look, you did it. It's my ability to do it because I've lost the weight, because I've changed the habits. It's like a stair step that's getting me higher to the mountain. Like I'm, I'm, I'm changing. And not everybody can do that. Not everybody can change. And I'm so proud.
So if there's one thing that knowing what you know today, one thing that you could go back and tell yourself when you were first starting, what would that be?
I would probably give myself, as everyone says, give yourself grace. I would actually give
Absolutely.
myself some grace and say, it's okay. Because for that beginning part of my son, I say my son's life, because it all really did kind of start once I had him. I gave it everything I had. I mean, I was on all kinds of stuff. Like, I was even on a medication where I leaked out of the bottom. Like, if I ate anything with a hint of grease, it fell through. But when I couldn't lose the weight even then, I just beat myself even more. And then when I did the next diet or fad, if that didn't work, I beat myself even more. And so I just kept putting that nail into myself, but never saying, okay, it's all right. Let's just relook at this, readjust it. I just kept beating myself up. And so I think that's what took me so long to actually see what was going on in my body, because I had done so much damage mentally to myself.
So what kind of diets have you tried before all the GLP-1s?
Well, for the GLP-1s, it's just been Saxenda and tirzepatide. But prior to that, I've done Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig. I can't remember what it's like, ALDI. I know it sounds like Aldi, but it's not Aldi. It's like the field of block fat. I've done 2 different versions of that one. I've done the cabbage soup diet. My mom kind of helped me on that one, because I saw her doing that most of my high school years. You know, her and my aunt would make cabbage soup. And when I had my son, she was like, you can make it in bulk and then you can eat it through the week. And I was like, oh yes, new mom, cost saving. But that didn't work. We have some local obesity clinics here in Houston. I've done those. I've done the 500 calories a day plus the B12 shot. I've done liquid diets. Interesting enough, my friend last night brought this up to me. She said, I'm allergic to watermelon. Okay, just I'm allergic to watermelon. But I even did a watermelon diet for a whole week. My whole body like inflamed. My mouth was a hot mess. But I was desperate at that point to lose 10 pounds. Like, I will suffer and eat the watermelon, even though my body is saying, do not do this, all for 10 pounds. And I ended up just making my body worse with all the inflammation. Yeah.
So do you take supplements?
I take Culturelle. I take that every day. That helps. I drink my water all day, every day. And so that makes sure everything flows. And then my bariatric vitamin that I take. I used to be on a regular multi-woman's daily vitamin, but I have thalassemia, which is an issue with my iron. It's rare that I'm in a normal range for iron. It's so bad I can't even donate blood. And when they test me, they're like, ma'am, no, thank you. So I'm on that multivitamin, the bariatric one, to help keep my iron level up. And so far, my iron level is actually pretty decent. If I stay on it a few more months, I'll probably be able to donate, because it's working its way up. I'm so proud of that one too. But really, those are the only supplements that I'm on.
So what made you decide to start a YouTube channel?
Long story short, I had a student who had a YouTube channel, and he had a lot of issues, but he had a community group on his YouTube channel that really based him. And for myself, when I got on this journey, I felt like I needed community. Like, I did not want to do this alone. I know what it's like. I've been there, done that. Even when I was in Weight Watchers and we had the community meetings, I still felt alone. Like, no one wanted to ask questions. No one was there to really guide us. It was more like the check-in. And I wanted to be able to get questions answered. I wanted to not suffer in silence. I started the channel. I picked the medicine up on a Wednesday and I loaded my first video on Friday. And then I just kept loading like every day. I was like, okay, I just had lunch and now I'm burping and I'm working through it though. I'm burping and people were like, oh, that's sulfur burps. I'm like, oh, thank you. So it was really just a way to get help. So I wasn't doing this by myself.
Is there a video that you're most proud of on your channel?
I have two that I'm most proud of. The first one
Tell us about them.
Well, they're both kind of like, why am I on this journey? First one, I'm just being honest about my kids. My kids are very, very active. I mean, competitive athletes. So we go to a lot of events and a lot of times I'm struggling. Like I can't get from the car to the stadium. We get to the stadium, I'm looking at all the stairs and I mean, I kid you not, I have sat in stadiums refusing to go to the bathroom because my knees hurt so bad. Like I can't mentally walk down there, go pee and then walk back up here. So I'll hold it. That's when I really hope my medicine kicks in. Come on, hold it for me. But just the struggle that I had, I'm very proud of that one because it was my first time being open and honest with myself about it. And then the second one, Allie from Fit Favorite Fun actually did a challenge where she was like, be honest with why you're on your journey. And so I ran to my car during my lunch break and I talked about my PP problem and I talked about my heavy flows and how everyone's answer to all my problems, lose the weight, lose the weight. And so now that I'm losing the weight, I'm seeing the issues resolve. So it's more of like a proud moment, like, oh, it's working. So those are my two. Yeah.
I love Allie from Fit Flavor Fun.
Yeah.
She's a great content creator. So have you had any negative comments on your channel?
On my channel, yes. I've blocked a few people. I usually, kind of like in my classroom, you know, whatever you say is what you say, it's what you believe, and no one should censor that. However, when you are going after someone else's character, that needs to get censored. So I did have one lady early on in the beginning, she questioned all my food, like, oh, your steak looks dry. What? Girl, it's protein. And it came from Outback. So I had to get rid of her because she was, oh, you need more salad dressing on your salad. What? What are you talking about? Oh, I don't have time for that. I'm talking about community. And then I had another lady who, I don't think she's for GLP-1s, which is concerning because how would you even get on my channel to watch the video as long as you did to say the comment you said? It's like,
really,
like
that's
you're
always surprised me.
Yeah. So again, I was like, no. And I usually try to take any comment as a way to help me. Like, kid you not, if they took the time out to write and share, I'm definitely going to take it to heart because they're trying to help me. And so when I got comments like, your steak is too dry, or you probably shouldn't be wearing those pants because you can still see the rolls. You don't think I saw that? But I feel good in the outfit because I know instead of 5 rolls, I only have 3 rolls. Like that's a me proud moment, not a you moment. But thank you, but no thank you. So, but I'd say probably 99% of my comments have been really, really good. Now I do have a hater. Kid you not, I have a hater. Regardless of what video I put out, they will always give me a thumbs down. I kid you not. It's funny because my approval is like 99.8 because of that one little thumb. But truth be told, their issue is with them. It's not really with me because they show up for me. So
I was gonna say, if they don't like your videos, why do they keep watching them?
yeah, yeah. And they're one of the first ones to do it. So they get the notification button.
Absolutely. So, oh, well, to each their own, I guess. So,
Yeah.
have you had any side effects on the medication?
Yeah. I've had all kinds of them. From my first ones were the sulfur burps
Mm-hmm.
and the leg cramps. I used to get really bad leg cramps, and then we realized it's just because I wasn't drinking enough water.
Mm-hmm.
My body was literally knocking on my door. We need water. We need water. So once I got my water intake up, that resolved. But then I started having the issues with the constipation. I had like 4 days of nothing, and my body was feeling everything was getting compacted. And so I had to balance that out with drinking even more water, because what I thought was enough water was not enough water. Those were my big ones. Back in February, I noticed that I was having hair loss, but that's not due to the medicine. That was due to me not eating enough.
Right.
And I've rectified that now. My calorie intake is a little higher. So, but yeah, I've had all kinds of the nausea, no vomiting, but definitely the nausea. In my mind, if I have a side effect, that means it's working. It's working.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I'll bring them on.
I guess I'm one of the lucky people. I really haven't had any side effects to speak of, but I do sympathize, and my wife's on the medication and she does have some of the side effects. So, I do sympathize with people about that.
Yeah. So no constipation issues either?
No, not really. I mean, I think I may have been like constipated like once, but I usually go in the morning, but I went later in the afternoon. So, I mean, can you call that constipation? I don't know. It's like,
I got you.
so have you found any unexpected surprises from the medication? Like for me, since the food noise has disappeared, like I could concentrate on things better because I don't have all those food thoughts going through my head.
Yeah. I've speaking of the food noise, I've been back to journaling. So anything that pops in my mind, I'm writing it down. My little book is like that thick. It's like a good 2 to 3 inch spiral notebook. I used to journal a long, long, long time ago, and then I just couldn't because there was no thought. It was all food related. I mean, kid you not, I realized I was having a problem where I'd be like, okay, let me go ahead and journal my thoughts for the day. And I'd end up making a grocery list. And it was like day 3, day 9, day 8 grocery list. I'm like, what am I doing? So I stopped journaling for a while. And now I've been back at journaling, and my brain is clear. So I have ideas for content, plans. I can plan stuff. Like, what? And it's not food centered. It's like,
Right.
we are going to go and do this. We are going to do that. And so that has been a huge, huge change for me. A very grateful change that I can actually think, like, I can answer questions without centering it right back to, do you want to go to lunch tomorrow? I'm thinking Red Lobster.
Do you track food?
I do, but I don't. I do it when I get in trouble. And for the last roughly, and I'm gonna argue this, 4 to 6 months, I've been in a stall. And I say a stall meaning that the scale has fluctuated within the same 10 pounds. That's how my doctor explained it to me. She was like, Allanda, when you moved out of a 10-pound range, you can, say it. But for the longest, I said at 195, 196, 195, 196. And then I started working my way down. I even got to 189. But then I started strength training. And so the scale started going back up. And she was like, I don't know why you keep telling people you out of stall. But I'm like, but the fat is gone. And she's like, yes, but you can see it as one of two ways. You can say you are stalled, or you can say you're in maintenance. Which one do you want to say? And I was like, well, I still have work to do. So we going to say I'm stalled, because
Okay.
I still need another 50 pounds to lose. So I'm not in maintenance. But, oh, see, that's that ADHD kicking in. That's a medication I do need to get on. But
I
I've
think
been
we all
able,
have some form of it. Yeah.
yes. When the brain is clear, it's like, girl, don't forget to say this. But it's been a real pleasure to be able to think and get my ideas out. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what do you plan on doing about the stall, and how are you treating it?
Unlike my first journey, I'm not giving up. I am gonna keep going because I am losing inches,
And
despite
that's great.
the fact that I
I'll
am
take that any day.
right. Yeah, I'm wearing a long sleeve, but like that's a muscle. Like that's you see some
That's
muscle
great.
right there. My stomach is going down tremendously. I was starting to get Ozempic booty, and that is reversed. Everything's
Mhm.
lifting back up. So the scale is showing one thing, but when I use my scale that does my body composition, my
Mhm.
lean mass is like 2 points up. Like, yeah, 2 points. Yes, it's 2 points up. So I know the fat loss is there, but I'm also gaining in benefits. Yeah.
So which scale do you use?
I got issues. I have 3 scales.
I have
I
two.
have because they do things a little differently. So depending on what my needs are for the moment, depends on which scale I stand on. I do have a home scale, the HUME, where you
Yeah, I want
hold.
to.
I have that one, and that's the one I use to look at the analytics. I don't
Mhm.
look at the weight on that because that weight has not matched with anybody. Like none of my doctors, none of my other 2 scales, but the analytics did come very, very close to my DEXA scale, DEXA
Mm.
scan. So
Mhm.
I use that for that reason. So I'm not spiraling mentally, because I will spiral. And then I have like a Renfo scale,
Mhm.
and that's the one I now just stand on to do the number. Those analytics are a little off compared to my other analytics. And
Mhm.
and I have a QDO, QARDIO scale. We've had that one since like 2014. And that's the scale everybody in the household stands on because it can hold like 8 different names. So
Mhm.
I originally started with that one as my main scale, and then my Renfo scale was my place scale.
Mhm.
Now I moved that one aside, and I just use Renfo in home. Yeah.
That's great. So what made you decide to get the full DEXA scan?
I didn't know what was going on with the body. And I know
Mhm.
people kept saying that, like, "Oh, Alanda, you're probably gaining muscle. You're gaining muscle." And they were probably right, but I didn't have anything to prove it. Like, I need proof. I'm a proof person. Don't just tell
Mhm.
me, show me. And so I went on and got the scan, and I was able to get like a 2-for-1 deal. So I still have another one that I'll do next month. And once the stall seemed to like start really happening, I wanted to really, really know what was going on, which is how I ended up with the home scale. So I could
Mhm.
compare and not spiral, because I was mentally spiraling. Keep in mind, I had 24 years of self doubt, negative talk. You can't just erase that in a year because you're on medication and it's working. So I was going back to those old mental habits. And for safe self preservation, I had to figure out a way to stop it. And for me, having the numbers show stopped it. So I did the Dex, and then I got the other scale so I can mentally balance at home.
Mhm. Are
Yeah.
you a daily weigher or a weekly weigher?
No, Cannot do it daily. I would be spiraling every day. I do my weigh-ins twice. So Monday, like tomorrow, I'll step on the scale and just see how did I do this week. And then Fridays when I do my official weigh-in. Like yesterday, well, I'm not going to get emotional because I'm good at getting emotional. Yesterday, we dropped off my son back in Maryland. He recently graduated from the Naval Academy, and he's out there right now waiting before he moves to Charleston. And so he's come home like 4 times this summer. Like whenever he gets a little stretch, he's home. But then when he leaves, I get all emotional again because he's growing and living his best life. And I have another daughter we just sent to college. And this morning, we dropped off one of my other daughters to college. So right now I just have 2 of my 6 kids in the house. So yesterday I called it my go do something day. So that's what I did. I went out there and I just did something. I tried stuff that I would normally not try. I went places. If I was driving and it looked interesting, I pulled into the parking lot and was like, okay, let me just look in here and see what they're about. And then I went and hung out with friends last night. Well, because I didn't track anything and I really didn't account for anything, it'll be interesting to see what the scale says tomorrow. Like, am I inflamed? I didn't track my salt, so I have no idea what that scale is going to look like. But it'll give me the whole week to bounce back because I know I'm emotional and just trying
Do you
not
get
to.
nervous before weighing?
Nah. It's like a battle. I'm like, bring it on. Because I know what I've done. I've been tracking. But when it does hit me back in the face, I'm like, I'll be like, oh, really? Really? Why you do me like that? I worked so hard.
Understandable. So you're an injection site. Are you a tummy person, leg, rotate?
Oh, I rotate. I'm all over the place. Yeah,
You
I'm
find
all
any differences?
Yes. The back of my arms give me insomnia. Yeah. Like if I want to be up at night, insomnia, do the arms. My thighs, I get okay with my thighs. In the beginning, I had pretty good weight loss in my thighs, but now it's decent. But I'm kind of stuck around my stomach. But I do try to give my stomach a break. And I've been on this 78 weeks. So that would have been 78 injections in one site. So I try to give it a little break. I'll play around with the other areas.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to you as far as injections, and I think all of them, but 2 have been in my stomach because it hurt when I did my leg. Because I don't have a lot of fat on my leg, so I think that was part of the problem. And as far as my arm, it's like, especially with the compound, I can't do it by myself, and I do it before I go to work. And I am not going to wake my wife up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do that because that just would not work out.
Yeah, I got
So,
you. Yeah, and
but
I'm
I
on
kind of
the
use it like a clock, so I try not to use the same, place too often.
rotate.
Right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm one of those people when I do the shot, I don't grab my. Some people pinch and then
Mm-hmm.
inject. When I pinch, it hurts. And I don't know what that's about. My doctor argued it was probably just I have more nerve endings right there. So
Hmm.
I told her, I said, when I give myself my injection, I don't always pinch. Like I'll gather, but I'm not pinching. And she's like, as long as you're giving yourself the shot. So a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
in my videos, I'm just like, just shooting it in. And people are like, don't forget to grab it. That hurts.
So you get your either compound or from Eli Lilly direct, correct?
No, I don't. I've used Mochi. I've used
Uh-huh.
a lot. I've used Lavender Sky and
Uh-huh.
Mochi and Amble. But with Mochi, they use several different pharmacies. So I've used Empower,
Empower, yeah.
Strive. South End. I've had Hollandale before. Yeah, I've played around. Yeah. And
I
now I have
forgot.
a new one.
I forgot which one, but I heard one of them is actually bringing their canisters back.
Yes, that is Casa Pharmacy. Yeah, I just got a canister like 2 weeks ago. Caught me off guard. I was home and I heard the UPS truck pull up, so I opened the window and he had it in his hand. I was like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." And then I ran downstairs and got my phone ready. And yeah, I was like, "It's back. It's the blue can." Because I've
Uh,
actually given out a lot of my blue cans
yeah,
for other people. So.
me too. But it's other than travel, I really haven't found a good use for it because it's kind of small for,
Yeah,
to put liquids in or.
yeah.
But I still have them. I don't know why. It's an obsession.
Yeah, I don't know why I was so excited because I had one in the refrigerator, but I was like, it's back. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm just happy that I have access to the medicine. Like that.
So when you get the name brand for mochi, is it the pen or is it in a
It,
vial?
it's the pen, but I actually don't get it from Mochi. I only get my compound from
Okay.
Mochi. I use Sam's Club for my
Okay.
name brand. Yeah. And that's okay. So I guess when you spend as much money on name brand as I was spending at Sam's, the pharmacist tends to know you.
Mhm.
So when I stopped trying to get it every month, she caught me in the aisle one day. She was like, "Hey, miss," and she said my last name, and I was like, "Oh my God, you remember me?" And she was like, "Do you want to fill your prescription?" I was, "No, not yet." And the next day, I had to go pick up a medication, and she caught me there. She was like, "We have it in stock if you want it." So I did go ahead and pick it up at that moment. But I was like, "Wow, she actually knows what I'm on, and she's on top of it for it to be a box store. Like she knew
Right.
it." Now it could have been because a long time ago I was calling all day, every day, trying to see, "Do you have it? Do you have it?" But who knows? She knows me now. My people
So
are playing the game.
so what's your opinion of the pen? I mean, I find it convenient, but like I'm okay with actually drawing it up.
I do. I like the convenience part, and it's so funny. We just had this conversation as we're planning for our August budget, my co-parent and I,
Mhm.
because technically August I'm supposed to go back to name brand. And he asked that question. He said, "Are you going to do the pen? Because we know that's $550, or am I going to have my primary send the prescription for the vial?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." So I've actually been sitting on that question for 2 days. I
I
mean,
think I
money
think it's a little cheaper.
yeah,
Isn't it 4.99 versus the 5.50? I mean,
yeah.
$50 is still $50.
It is, but somewhere in my heart, I'm like, "But you got to have the pen." So I don't know. It's a mental thing. I got to get over it. Mental
Yeah.
is more important, um, but so is the money aspect. I
Mhm.
need to be able to save where I can. So
It's funny because there was one morning that like uh, I just time got away from me and I'm like, "Oh crap, I got to go to work. I got to do this." And I grabbed one of my wife's pen because she's actually on Manjaro because she's diabetic. And I'm like, wow, that was a lot quicker. But I do like the fact that I could kind of adjust my dose a little bit with the compound. And seeing that I was worried that the compound was going to go away, like a lot of people, I stocked up
yeah,
and I'm trying to use the older bud dates. So like I have her using the compound also because her pens are good for a year. Uh,
yeah,
so because she doesn't find any difference between the two. So
yeah.
so we're both using the compound just to get rid of some of the older bud dates.
Mhm.
And so there is that aspect of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've come up with a whole little system of writing the bud dates on the top and taping the prescription label on the vial so it all fits in my little container. But yeah,
And,
it's
and I
been a
can't stress to people how important that is, because even though, like with mochi, like you said, they have many different pharmacies. Uh, whatever your dose is from one pharmacy may not be the same units as another. So, I want people to every time read that label, read those directions, because one of your doses might be 75 units, and on another one, it might be 90 some units.
Yeah.
Same dose,
Yep.
different units. I don't want anybody to overdose or underdose. So again, I'm bringing that up for everybody. Not really medical advice, but just something smart to do.
Yeah, because I've had that, and that's where I say the community really rallied in, because I'm on camera and I'm like doing this, and then I said what was on the label, and shortly later that evening when I uploaded the video, they were like, "Allanda, what did you say again?" And then I went and looked, and it was a different vial, and I had underdosed myself, like almost to a 5 milligram.
Mhm.
I was like,
Almost better underdosing than overdosing.
yes, yes. And that's actually happened twice to me. So now I'm on it. I'm like, okay, I'm on it. Like, I need to read and get it together.
Absolutely. So how has the GLP-1 changed your daily, that's a good way to word this. What you do in a day?
Um, well, right now that I've put in the strength training,
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to balance that. On a sad note, but a real note, my children realize that I cannot be at every single thing. It's just humanly not possible. However, humanly, I was making it possible. I was showing up for 15, 20 minutes of a game and then driving 30 minutes to another game. And in between that, stopping to grab something to eat. So I made sure I ate, because that's what was going through my mind. Girl, you got to eat. You got to eat. Well, now when I plan out my day, it's clearer. Like, you're going to do this. And then if you can get here for this, it's fine. If you can't, it is what it is. So it's more organized. And to be honest, while I thought my kids would be, oh, you show up for this, or you didn't show up for that, they're more happy about me being happy.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So it's been a whirlwind emotionally and physically. Like, one of my daughters, she's a state title wrestler here in Texas. There were some things I couldn't make, and these were like big things, but she was more like, because of how I come off, I'm more happy, I'm more heartfelt. She felt, I'm with you. Like, my mom's here. She's not physically here, but I have her support. It wasn't me like, oh, babe, go do it. Okay, go do it. Giving that self-doubt on her. Like, she's like, okay, I got this. My mom's not here. Somebody record so she can get it. And it's just, it's different. I wake up with a different mindset. If I can do it, if I can. If I can't, I can't. It's not so negative like it used to be. So yeah.
You mentioned mochi, and this isn't necessarily a mochi question, but I know that they have available a dietitian for free. And I know most people that also have any type of health insurance, it's usually covered with maybe a $10 or $20 copay. Have you taken advantage of that?
I have. And it's funny because I just had my member benefits for work. But last year, when we had the meeting, they were like, you can get 4 meetings with a dietitian. Actually, it was 2 years ago, 2023. You can get 4 meetings with a dietitian. And I was like, only 4? That's like not helpful. But my mind wasn't there yet. I wasn't ready to start a journey. So when I heard about mochi, I was more like, oh, well, that's nice. But then when I hit that stall, they're the first one. I need a dietitian. I need to figure this out. And I've used her probably 5 times in the
Mhm.
last 6 months. Like, okay, this is what's going on, help. Okay, this is what's going on, help. Opposed to even the option of going through my regular insurance. It's like crazy. My mind's just shifted. Yeah, if I have a question, I reach out. And she's pretty
Mhm.
good at getting back to me.
Oh, great. So has it been helpful with the dietitian?
Yes, yeah. I have an issue with sodium, so
Mhm.
we kind of pinpointed that. I even know how many grams of sodium I'm supposed to have in a day based on my body. Like
Mhm.
I've been focused on protein this whole time. I didn't even think about some of the other nutrients that my body needs or does not need. Um, like electrolytes. I've learned I don't need and I say that I'm not a medical doctor, but based on
Mhm.
my body, when I take an electrolyte, I do more damage to my body than I need to because my body doesn't need the excessity of the electrolytes because I'm also on a bariatric vitamin that has a high
Mhm.
number. So I do more damage trying to take um, electrolytes. And she was one of the ones that brought that to my attention. And that came from me doing blood work with my doctor and then me talking with her about it. And it just all like clicked in together. Whereas beforehand, I wouldn't have had that connection. I would have just kept trying to figure out what the
Mhm.
problem was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say I'm one of those guilty people that haven't taken advantage of it. Plus, it is covered on my insurance. Um, I can't explain why. And I briefly, like, not this week coming up, but next week, I have a interview with a dietitian that I did coming out, and again, it's like I don't know why. It's very convenient. Most of them will do it telehealth wise.
Mhm.
If you're not, if your dietitian doesn't, there's groups online that have dietitians that specializes that will take insurance. And so I can't explain why I'm non-compliant with that.
You're
It
just
kind
not
of baffles me.
there. Yeah, because that's where my mind was. I just wasn't there. It wasn't part of my journey. Like I just didn't need it at that time. But then
Uh,
when I hit that stall, I was like, oh, okay, let's figure this out. And so now, and that's one of those crazy things where we talked about protein. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm getting in all my protein. And I named off all my processed protein. She was like,
mhm,
great. But now let's look at other options. So that's when we start talking about different meat options, different um, non-meat options. I just mentally wasn't there. And again, you don't know what you don't know. And there were some things I just didn't know. I thought protein was protein. But yeah.
I think part of my reason is because I am on maintenance,
Mhm.
so, it's like I I'm not gonna say I have it all figured out, but,
You've got it.
some of it, and I don't really wanna take up a dietitian's time with asking questions on what some of my subscribers might ask, which is why
Yeah.
I finally found one and did an interview so that we could go over some of that stuff. But I have taken advantage of their blood work because my doctor does regular blood work every 6 months, and once in a while, I like the in between. So I kind of do take advantage of that. How important do you feel blood work is?
Very, very important. Yeah. I mean, I kid you not, in the last 2 months, I've probably had 4 different types of labs drawn.
Hmm.
I am 48, so we're trying to figure out some hormonal stuff.
Hmm.
With the stall, it can be a whole lot of stuff. It
Hmm.
really can be. And so my doctors have all been trying to figure it out. Like, could it be this? Could it be that? Could it be this? And like me, the only thing you can really go by are the numbers. And so that's
Hmm.
what we keep going over. Where are we on the numbers? Could that really be the issue? So I don't mind. I mean, if they let me go once a week to draw blood, I would. Do
I
comparison.
hear. At least once a month, I would do it.
Yeah, I've been in there a lot. Yeah. And actually, I have a video coming out where I meet with my OBGYN
Mm-hmm.
because she did some additional blood work. And I was like, I don't know what I'm reading. Like one of them looks like a stop sign. It's like yellow, green, and red. And the other one has numbers. I don't know what I'm reading. And so she goes over it with me, so we can figure out how to move forward. Because I'm running into little issues that aren't really GLP-1 related, but because I'm losing the weight, they're showing up. It's like, oh, okay. Huh. Okay. Again, it's that whole, when you lose weight, Allanda, lose the weight. But now things are getting a little clearer. Yeah.
I kind of feel sorry for my cardiologist because I do CT scans for a living, and he is actually at our center twice a week. So like whenever I get new blood work or have a question, I'm like, here, doc, what do you think?
Yep. I'll see mine in September.
And he kind of has to answer me because I'm really good friends with his father, who's a
Oh,
radiologist. So it's like, you don't answer me, I'm going to tell your father.
I got it. Yeah, those
So,
good benefits.
yeah. I could keep you all day, but I'm not gonna because I know you're busy. I'm busy, and you have a family. So, do you have any closing thoughts or anything you want to say in closing?
Um, I I will say what I told my friend last night at dinner. There's always a time and a place for your mental and physical journey. And GLP-1s can help you in both avenues. But you also have to decide, are you ready to take those steps? Because I've
Mm-hmm.
seen some people get on GLP-1s and get off within 2 months, and they just weren't ready. And then I've met a slew of people who are on these journeys, and they are just, transforming their lives day to day. You just have to figure out, where are you and are you ready to take those steps? I wasn't ready back in 2016, but 2025, bring it. I'm ready. And that's what I've been doing.
Well, I thank you for your time. You've been very gracious and very helpful. And again, thank you for doing this. My subscribers have been telling me how helpful these interviews are, which is why I'm trying to do a little bit more of them. And
Yeah.
I thank you for participating.
No problem. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing more.
Okay, I'm going to end this with that. Hang on.